Welcome to RoxTalks. My name is Roxanne Wilson, and I'm so excited to be here with you online and on audio, maybe in your car, maybe perhaps somewhere. As part of the new season of RoxTalks, I'm here with Dr. Clemons, Roshanda Clemons to be exact. I kind of feel like this season should be people I met at the gym because I meet the coolest people at the gym, and then I'm like, I have to have you on. I was first intrigued with Dr. Clemons because she can dance as well as I can, and that's hard to pull off. No, I'm just kidding, but kind of.
No, she's not kidding. She's not kidding.
But then, of course, your smile, and getting to know you, then found out you're a pediatrician, which my little sister is a pediatrician, and there aren't a lot of Black female pediatricians in the world, let alone that I would know too, is amazing. We just hit it off there. So thank you for being a guest.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Now, you are an Orange County native, is that right?
So not a native. Mm-hmm. Actually, San Francisco area is my home.
Oh, nice.
Yes, from the Bay Area.
Another country, I'm learning.
Completely. That was always the only north and south that I knew.
That's hilarious. You know, in Texas, it's all just one place, one crazy California. But when I moved here and I was meeting people and I'm like, or I said, I'm moving to Orange County. They're like, you're going to be in the South. I'm like, is that a big deal? Now I realize it is.
It's
you learned
it. It's a huge deal. Well, we're all good. We're all Californians. Yes. We're good. We're good.
Excellent. Now, you're a pediatrician, obviously, as just mentioned, but you're a pediatrician on a mission.
Absolutely.
And I want to talk about that. You have a specific passion that I think is good to get out in the world. Can you tell us a little about that?
So in terms of what I'm promoting, of course, as a physician, most of us physicians, we're all into the well-being and healthcare of our patients. Mm-hmm. But my personal passion is just promoting overall fitness of the total mind, body, and soul. Because I think oftentimes, especially now with current medical care, it's kind of broken, and we're focusing more on illnesses and kind of more of a reactionary kind of approach
instead of preventative.
Yeah, and that's what I'm totally for: prevention. And it's not just prevention of illnesses; it's prevention of illnesses of the mind, preventions of illnesses of the soul and the spirit, right? In addition to just our physical being. So that's what I'm on a mission for. I want to actually help teach and educate people on different ways that they can be their best. Because how can you live your best without, being your healthiest?
You can't.
Right?
So it's interesting because when you first said fitness, of course the mind immediately goes to like working out, but you mean just the health of all those parts of the body, the soul, the physical part of the body, as well as what's, I guess that's not just the muscles, but what's inside as well.
Exactly. Because, we, for a long time, we used to practice medicine saying we're going to approach a patient from the biopsychosocial aspect.
I'm sorry, and what does that mean?
Biopsychosocial. So that's
biopsychosocial aspect.
I know. It sounds all fancy, but it's really not that.
It does.
It's basically saying that whatever happens on a molecular level can be affected by what happens in the mind. Right? Mm-hmm. So the mind is so powerful that it can affect what happens to you physically.
So is that to say that in some ways you could actually cure yourself?
I think in a lot of ways we can. A lot of ways we can. And that's one thing that I don't think we give credit to.
Yeah.
We focus so much on the physical aspect, in terms of how much muscles we have and what size we are wearing. And I think that, that's important. But in terms of what we do internally, right? In terms of what we put in our bodies, in terms of what we put in our minds and what we allow to enter our brains, that affects us on a physical level too. And we are not always aware of that.
And when you said that, I immediately think of some things that you see on TV that, like, I can't do scary movies. I won't do scary movies. Even the commercials, like I plug my ears and I'm like, Mommy, maybe mash my M&M's, something we used to in choir. But just because I don't even want to see it.
Exactly.
And I also think of a good friend of mine, Liz, when she started having babies, she's like, I can't watch Grey's Anatomy anymore. I'm like, what? Why not? And she said because there was always something about a baby being in trouble or dying, and she's like, I didn't need that in my brain. And so that's kind of what you're talking about there.
Exactly. I mean, just think of the power of it, in the sense that if you think you're sad, I give this as an example. This is the best example. Like, you can overcome when you're just like physically exhausted, right? Like
Olympians do it all the time.
Right, you had a wonderful time hanging out, or you worked extra hours, but you still can find that extra strength to get up the next day, even if you have 4 hours of sleep. Now let's talk about the effect from emotional baggage, right? Let's talk about what that does to you, right? When you're drained. Now that's an exhaustion that's really hard to overcome.
Like a bad breakup or a divorce or something
exactly,
like that.
Right? So you find yourself dragging. That's because it's the power of the mind. The power of the mind. So this is what I'm actually advocating. I'm not just advocating just a physical aspect. I'm advocating, are you well emotionally? Are you well spiritually?
Is that kind of Eastern medicine in the view?
Well, a lot of people see it that way because I am a board certified pediatrician. So, I was trained in the Western way of training medically. However, at least now I feel like we're catching up. Like when I first started training, I was told that I shouldn't even pray with my patients, right? Like that's a bad thing. I shouldn't even laugh with my patients. But now we're catching up and we're realizing.
And you're with kids, so that sounds wild to not laugh or pray with them.
That's I don't want to date myself, but that's how we used to think. You know what I mean? Like the patient comes in, you just sit there in this kind of rigid way, and then you basically tell them what you feel needs to be done. Whereas that's all changing, right? We feel like in order for the patient to be the best, we need to incorporate everything, your lifestyle, your beliefs, right? What type of diet you're on, right? In order for me to help you be your best with your lifestyles, with your beliefs, your culture.
So can you give us 3 tips to work on our fitness of our mind, body, and soul? Maybe one in each aspect would work.
Okay. Now, some of the tips I'm going to give you, some people are like, what? Like, what planet is
I
she
want
from?
to hear what.
Planet is she
like,
from? Okay.
Give it to me straight.
So, of course, so the physical fitness aspect, I think that part is pretty easy, right? In terms of, it's recommended that we do a good 30 minutes a day, right? Some people say 5 days a week. I say, I push for every day.
Every day.
Right? It doesn't necessarily have to be in the gym, but I'm just saying incorporate it everywhere.
It could be like, I don't know, skating perhaps. I saw your Instagram.
Absolutely. You see I get it in.
I see it.
You see I get it in. And that was at the kids' party.
Awesome.
That was at the kids' party. So that's the recommended minutes of cardio that we should actually get a day. Now, if we have genetics that put us at a higher risk, right, for a lot of complications.
Which, by the way, I'm so tired of turning on the news and hearing that as a Black woman, I'm at high risk for like every possible disease out there. But that's the reality.
It's the reality.
Yeah.
But the good thing about that is that, we're troopers, right? Of course, we have a higher risk for diabetes, high blood pressure, blah, blah, blah.
Heart disease.
Now I'm saying, exactly. Now I'm starting to sound like one of those pharmaceutical commercials.
I know. We should go frolic in the park. As they're like, no cause, la la. And you're like, really? Because I'm in a park.
Right. You're like, forget the medication. Just let me die from the disease. Let me die from the disease. But we are, but we do have this thing called the power of the mind. We are resilient. We're powerful people. We've gone through some things. The other aspect that people don't talk about so much is why are Black women at a risk? Well, let's talk about stress factors. Right? Let's talk about environment, the effect of the environment on us. Let's talk about, family dynamics. So
yes, and I'm pausing because I took you down a road. I do want you to give us those 3 tips, but I do want to talk to you about more about that as well too.
Okay.
We're gonna park that, but can you? Okay. So you said one was
okay. So that's the physical fitness aspect. In terms of the mental aspect, I think that entails us getting in touch with who we are, right? And learning literally like what calms you, right? Where's your happy place?
Yeah.
And in order to do that, this is one of my tips. I'm gonna say everybody's gonna be like, oh,
how do we do it? Because it's hard to know yourself.
She's crazy. like turn everything off.
When you say everything, do you mean your phone?
I know it's possible.
You don't mean the phone though, do you?
I absolutely do.
Do you mean off or on vibrate?
I mean like off.
Silent?
I mean like off. I mean, like, oh, so you're like one of those people.
Oh, yeah.
You're one of those people. It is
plugged in.
possible, and longer than 5 minutes.
Oh, how long?
Longer than 5 minutes.
How long are you requiring?
Like, it depends on how much soul searching we need to do.
Okay, I'm laughing, but okay, yeah.
It's possible.
So,
right, I'm not saying to do it when you
Right.
expected meetings and several phone calls and contacts. I'm saying like when you're feeling like you're getting a little bit overwhelmed and things are getting a little chaotic and you're feeling like you're losing control. That's when it's time to just shut it all off.
Turn it off.
Turn it off. Right?
So
Get
maybe
still.
you should do
Get
that
quiet.
like being in my house and turning it off sounds like insane. Like Alexa will probably like, "Are you there, Roxanne? I don't hear you." So maybe like going out to a park, she might be like, "What? It's too quiet in here." Alexa, Siri, no.
As long as you're going to the park and you're turning everything
leaving
off.
it in the car or whatever.
All your
Easier.
distractors.
Oh, that means take off the Apple Watch too, because
all of it. So you have all the. It's possible. Now,
Okay.
see, I didn't even give you the version if you really, really want to get in touch with yourself. Like, go camping. Like, go somewhere where nothing works.
Yeah.
And get in touch with nature.
No, I'm just, but you're right. So
every once in a while we should do it.
So what
I
I'm
honestly
hearing,
think
how
every
often,
once in a while we should do it. It depends on you. You know, like
would you
I'll talk
recommend?
for myself. Like I go there every day, multiple times a day.
For how long a day?
Right. Well, sometimes it can just be like 5-minute spurts. Sometimes it can be 20-minute spurts, depending on my level of chaos.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's stressful as a physician.
Yeah,
I have
bet.
to take in on everybody's issues. So in order for me to be able to be personal cheerleaders, right, and the advocates for you being your best, how can I do that if I'm not my best?
You can't. So what I hear you saying is to be healthy and be fit in the mind, you have to find your happy place and get there.
You have
and
to.
to find your happy place, because sometimes it's hard to know yourself. You got to turn it off and figure out what that is.
Exactly. You got to do some soul searching, right? And then the third aspect of it is spiritually. How do you take care of yourself, right? I'm a very spiritual person, right? Everybody has their own beliefs, right?
Right.
Everybody has their own beliefs. So whether you believe in Allah, whether you believe in God, whether you believe you're Buddhist, whatever it is, you need to get in touch with it, right? And figure it out, whether you just believe in Mother Nature, right? And you need to go out there and hear the waves of the ocean. You need to figure that out.
Yeah.
Once you figure that out, I think it helps you to find your genuine self. It helps you to get grounded in terms of when things are going total haywire. Like you can have total chaos all around you, but it's almost like you're the only one that has the sun shining right over you.
Yeah.
Right? And when you learn to do that, I think you can actually reach your best potential. It doesn't matter what everybody else is doing, because you know what lane you're supposed to be in. You know why you're here. So that's just some of my tips.
I love it. Okay, so the first one is to get moving.
Get moving, absolutely.
Every day. 30 minutes minimum.
Minimum.
And you can be creative about it, but
Exactly.
do it. Step 2 is to find your happy place. So when you are getting overwhelmed, which we're going to get overwhelmed in this world, it's going to happen, it's a guarantee. Find your happy place and get there. And if you don't know where your happy place is, it's time to unplug and get away and figure it out. And then step 3 is find your higher power,
There you go.
whatever it is, and be in touch with that on a regular basis.
Absolutely.
Because I think a lot of people have actually found that higher power. They know what their higher power is, but when's the last time you took time to actually like nurture that relationship?
Exactly.
Like
and it
anything.
takes time.
Yeah.
And it takes time. Like you said, any relationship, and I say anything that's worth any value to us, we work on it, right? It's not just given to us.
True. My daily, my goal daily, and I do it pretty much, is that I get up in the morning and I first read my devotional, and then, write my prayers and pray. And then I pick up my planner because I'm a nerd like that. And I write out like goals for the day, plan, and I look at that. And then I can begin the rest of the day. Now that's the ideal.
That's
Sometimes
ideal.
other things get, it gets out of whack, but I always get back to that. And I'm like, I got to do my devotional daily. I have to do. And I feel like the devotional is, of course, me with my higher power with God. Yeah. And then the planner is like me.
That's you.
I like, and then it's just, yeah. So I love
So
that.
sound like you got a great schedule.
I'm trying.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
And you have a wonderful routine, and everybody has to find their own. So like if I tell you my routine, I think most people are just like, oh my gosh, I'm about to have a heart attack. And part of my routine, it gets so, and I don't want to say crazy, it's busy,
Right.
but it's doable.
I don't like the word busy.
Why not?
Because everybody's busy. And everyone's
Yeah.
like, I'm so busy. I'm like, no, we're not all busy. Or we are all busy. And if we're all busy, then it's zero and no one's busy.
But
Does
some
that make
people are
sense?
busy doing nothing.
Well, but that's my point.
And those are the
Like,
kind of people I need to
so
find.
Busy.
I need to go recruit and say, hey, you look like you're not doing anything. I don't have enough hours in a day, right? Why don't you come over here? Let me give you a few tasks to do.
Exactly.
Yeah,
There were words
I get
like, it's funny, I go through phases. Like when I was little, I hated the word puss because I just thought it just sounded so gross. And then I hate when someone says, relax. Guys like, oh, just relax. I want to be like, wah, 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 wah. And now I'm so busy. I'm just like, really, you're the only one in the entire world that's busy. How is that possible?
Right.
So I know you weren't using that way, but I went on a side.
No, and I'm just saying it from the extreme because I tell everybody, if as a physician, right, as a mother, if I can find a way to find peace, right,
with all that you're doing,
with all that I'm doing, right, I make sure that I'm present for each one of my children.
Mm-hmm.
I make sure that I'm present for my patients, right. I make sure that I'm present for myself.
Yourself, exactly.
If I can do it, I think anybody can.
Yep. And that's actually a lot more encouraging than when you hear the, no offense to any stars out there, but oh, I've got my kids and I'm doing this and I'm juggling. I'm like, okay, but you have a full-time nanny, maybe two. You know what I mean? Not to take away from it, but it's great to see that you can get that all done.
Right.
You yourself and you.
Yeah.
So, couple questions I have for you.
Okay.
The first thing is, let's get back to the African American female, black female, woman of color female, whatever you want to call us female issue. Why the heck? I mean, literally, because I'm a Today Show junkie. One day I hope to be on the Today Show. Not as like a cautionary tale, but actually like hosting. Let me clarify.
You'll be there.
Cheers to that. Cheers. I'm going to cheers you on that. But they always, whatever disease, they've either old, new, just found it, whatever, then they're like, and like even diseases like HIV. Why is HIV a big deal in the African American community? HIV was a big deal like for everyone when we're younger. How'd we miss that? And now we're the ones who are dying more from HIV. I'm just like, this is ridiculous. I mean, Magic Johnson, who is probably the most, I'm going on a soapbox, but
I know.
probably the most, I would say, well-known person with HIV who's alive happens to be, guess what, black. So why do what is our deal that we are constantly the ones that are plagued? I get that certain diseases like sickle cell, something that's always, that's not going away. But some of these preventative things, I'm like, this is just ridiculous.
Well, I think that's a very loaded question, right?
Why? Because that was like a 10-minute question?
No, it's complicated.
Yeah.
It's, and medically we would say it's multifactorial, right? So I am who I am. I am who I am.
But that one I understood.
It's multifactorial.
Multifaceted, I got it. Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing. In terms of your lifestyle, that has something to do with it, right? So people will try to say, especially from our culture, we'll try to say, oh, I just, I have high blood pressure just because it runs in the family. No, it's not from the family. It's from the Popeyes.
What you're eating, yeah.
It's
which is sensitive because it can get like stereotypical, but is also true.
It's very true.
And stereotypes do come from, they're based in something.
Some of the stereotypes, I think, are based in things, and some of the stereotypes are political, and some of them are hateful.
Well, some based in something.
But
hatred.
Some of it is just some of our practices that we need to change. Yeah. Right. You can look at your family. I can look at my family. I can look at my family and say, when it's time to make the good old fashioned traditional meals with the greens, it's 2019. We don't have to put ham hock in here.
Now, my family's Trinidadian, and that's some good food.
Oh, well,
but you just gotta know, like,
here's the
curry and
here's the thing. You can change it up a little bit,
absolutely,
and it still tastes just as good.
Where's the education in that, though?
Just as good.
Because how does one know, hey?
Well, that's the tough part, and that's the challenge, and this is why we're seeing so many of us, right, that are affected, and I think we are hit harder. There's also a history of this distrust, right, with the medical industry. There's also this distrust with so many aspects of life that's responsible for educating us. So if we distrust, why are we going to believe them? If we distrust that people are saying that, oh, if you glove up, then it's going to protect you from that. We may have our own beliefs.
Love it before you love it. Do you remember that?
Right?
So that's the phrase. I didn't make that up, but
it's catchy.
Right?
It's catchy.
I saw it on. Hey, listen, I've listened to public service announcements.
And so that's why I said it's multifactorial. And even though we're like the education is there, why we're still behind the times?
Yeah.
You'll be surprised what people are taught. You'll be surprised at how many people are not even taught at all. If I tell you how many patients I see, and they say no one's ever taught them about why their body's changing from puberty.
Like it's 2019.
Exactly. So that's why you're saying, how is it that we're affected by a lot of these different preventive diseases, right? And everybody else is not. And then there's the other part of it. Like I said, there's a political aspect of it, where it's epidemiology. And if I do a study on any group, I can make it look the way I want it to look. So that's part of it too. It's not just us being affected. It's not just us. Some of this is sensationalism, right?
And I do think some of it also, is I don't even know what to call it, but women in general, for example, it's American. We're filming this in February, so it's American Heart Health Month, or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And women are more prone to die from heart disease. They say it's because women in general you're not thinking about, oh, that pain is something I need to really get checked out. And I do think that historically African American women are holding even more of that world on their shoulders, so they're really not getting it checked out.
Absolutely. Because just look at most of the women in your family. I think about the women in my family. We're soldiers. I think about myself. How often do you complain? How often do you actually do something if you have symptoms?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll be fine.
Right.
Let's press through it. You know what I mean? So I think that adds up to it in terms of us. And I don't think we just voluntarily want to be these soldiers. There's a lot of reasons why we have to be the soldiers.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
We have to be the soldiers. And so if you add all of those pressures just from our families, just from our jobs, just from the world, right? We have a lot of pressures on our shoulders just from the world, right? That a lot of people don't have to deal with it. When you walk into the room, I'm sure everyone doesn't imagine like all the different degrees and titles that you have, right?
Sure.
So you have to worry about the negative stereotypes that's put right on your shoulders. If you're not used to that, that's very stressful, right? And it's like you're living in a high stressful, situation nonstop. Of course you're going to get high blood pressure.
Yeah.
Right?
It's almost inevitable.
I say it's not inevitable.
Good. I was baiting you.
I say it's not inevitable. Because then it's going to say all my work, right, is just in vain.
But I also think, you're going back to like historically, like just, the collard greens and things like that. So we need a chef that looks like us, who's out there cooking.
Right.
Is on the morning shows, is on wherever we are watching, showing us how yummy it is to have it without it. Who's doing a cookbook of, traditional food that's actually calorie friendly.
And that's where you would be perfect.
Right? At least I can find you.
Exactly. You'll find the chefs that look like us.
I'm looking for you.
You'll find us. And then actually have them make something that's more cultural for us.
Absolutely.
Right? Because I find that we do have chefs that make some of our cultural dishes, but a lot of us are like, it doesn't look like me.
Exactly. Just like I'm not going to go to our gym and expect someone to tell me where I get my hair done. It's just not going to happen.
Exactly.
It's not going to happen.
Exactly. So that's part of it. I mean, but the good thing is nowadays we have so much education, knowledge right here at our fingertips, right? In a matter of seconds, you can have the answers. And so I say there's no excuse. I really say there's no excuse. I think you have to press forward. You have to show that it's a priority in your life, right? Like it means something to you. Like if it's important. That's what I say. And it's not to say that you're not going to necessarily do something that's not healthy for you for a while, but just like, wasn't it Maya Angelou that said, when you learn better, you do better? Right? So, and then I think it becomes our own responsibilities once you know better to share with others. Like, don't shove it down their throat. Right? But just show that there's another way. right?
Be that vehicle for other people.
Absolutely.
I love it. This has been fantastic. I could really go longer. But tell me a little bit more about your actual practice.
Okay. So my practice is actually a concierge practice. You know, it's where we actually bring medicine to you.
Like
right?
to me, like
absolutely
Postmates to me?
To your door.
Nice.
Right? It's almost like, I don't want to say, some people like want to say like the medical version of
Uber
right?
Eats, yeah.
Right. For a certain generation, that's like a positive thing, right?
It is.
So not only do I bring the medicine to you, right? But it's actually what I say is ideal medicine, because the medical industry is broken and a lot of people are tired of being treated like a herd of animals, right? Where your doctor doesn't even know you. You get literally 5 minutes with the doctor.
I know, right?
And in Southern Cal, this should actually hit home even harder, right? Imagine you're driving an hour and a half plus on the freeway in traffic. Then you got to sit there and wait 30 minutes to an hour to see your doctor, and then they just run you right out in 5 minutes, right? Like, I avoid all of that. I come to you. I'm in traffic to get to you, right? And you're not going to just spend 5 minutes with me. It's going to be 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever we need to deal with whatever issues and questions that you may have.
Wow.
And I'm for prevention, right? So if you're all into, you want to learn how to be your best, you want to learn how to live your best, to be your healthiest, right? Then you need to come on board with the kind of medicine that I'm practicing, right? And I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of physicians that are tired of actually practicing medicine where you literally get 5 minutes to 11 minutes per patient, and you don't even know your patients, right? With concierge medicine, I have a limit to the number of patients I can see, right? So that way I can focus on you. I get time to take care of your child. Like, how can I find out what's troubling the child if I don't get a chance to talk to you and find out what your schedule is?
Well, and see, I can see that being great as well too, because you might see, well, the issue probably might be something that's happening at the home. You get to kind of see some of that as well too.
And I love it.
Yeah.
I love it because, you know, there's things I've been able to find out in terms of just the wrong dosing of the medications, because the parents can show me. I've been able to find different allergens that nobody would have probably found out if I wasn't sitting there watching grandma cook.
Yeah.
Right. For the
absolutely.
child. And then, so I love that aspect. And there's a lot of issues that sometimes people don't want to talk about, and they want to deal with in the comfort of their home, right? If I can get you to start working out, and you don't have to go to a gym, even though we love our gym.
We love our gym.
We absolutely love our gym. that can be intimidating for some people who are just starting. And so what I would do is allow them to start getting fit as a coach right there in the home. And nobody's watching. You don't have to be embarrassed. You don't have to feel ashamed. We're going to have fun with it, right? Just think about it. Your doctor's there with you. I'm not just telling you to lose weight and do this. I'm going to show you how to.
Oh, that's really cool.
Right? I'm not just going to say you need to change your eating styles. I'm going through your cabinet. I'm going through your refrigerator.
So how old do I have to, like, is there an age limit to this service?
Absolutely. I'm so sorry.
Oh, come on. You're like a child at heart.
I know. So all the children,
No,
I'll say
that
after.
sounds amazing.
Absolutely. And I'm so excited that I can even offer this. You know, it's been a while, you know, and, you know, we always think that we have to practice in a traditional sense, but because things are so broken, right, I don't like not having my patients satisfied. You know, I've devised a way, and again, I'm not the only one. That's why concierge medicine even came into existence.
Very snazzy.
Right? But I don't want people to think it's because we're all greedy. It's like the doctors are tired. We don't like seeing patients for 5 minutes and having to have your nurse explain to you what the diagnosis is and what the treatment. I like being able to say and sit down and say, oh, you know, this is a serious issue, versus, Mom, you need to get a glass of wine and relax.
Yeah.
I can do that when I come to your home.
That's huge. I love that. Yeah.
So
where do I find the website?
So the website is compassionatechildrenscare.com, and you'll find all the contact information on the website.
So if you're in Orange County,
then
Dr. Clemons,
you're in luck.
Rat-tat-tat-tat on your door. What if I'm in New York or Arizona or Austin?
Now here's the thing. If you're my patient and you're in New York, you're in good hands, right? Because I can still take care of you there.
Will you fly to New York?
I will not fly to New York. But it's 2019.
It is.
We have different ways of communicating with our patients.
That's awesome.
Right? So if I am your child's doctor, you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, I'm traveling and I can't get that. I'll take care of that too.
That's fantastic. I love it. Compassionate
children's care.
There's 3 C's, and I don't know if I should put children before
C. Yes.
before care. So I'm like, which word do you go? CompassionateChildren'sCare.com. Okay,
Yeah.
And it's children's with an S.
Absolutely.
At the end.
There we go.
.com.
There we go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Roxanne.
How do people get in touch with you, find out what you're doing, see you skating on Instagram? Tell us.
Oh, that's a great question, Roxanne. I'm still trying to figure that out. So you know me, like, even though I always say, we all have to change. I even have to work on my issues and making sure that I'm changing.
Yeah,
that's right. I'm just now getting into social media, but I can proudly boast that you can find me on Instagram at RClemonsMD.
Excellent.
Right? You can also find my website for my practice, CompassionateChildren'sCare.com, and it'll give you details of how to even connect once you go on that site.
I love it. So, Clemons MD on Instagram,
on
and
Instagram.
then Compassionate
Children's Care.
CompassionateChildren'sCare.com. I love it. Thank you so much, Dr. Clemons. Really appreciate this. We'll need to be talking to you again very soon.
Sounds good.
And I will put all of her information on my website, RoxanneWilson.com. If you're not already following me on Stitcher, on iTunes, Google Play, please do. I'd love that. And drop a comment below. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and you can watch the full version of this on YouTube on the RoxTalks channel. Thanks so much. Bye.
You know about the carbs. No. Because we can talk about this all day, guys. This lunch and dinner.
Of course.
It's not the rice.
You don't think it's the rice.
No.
Would you go on?